All right, let's try and put this together and see if we can figure out how to use that notation in order to find things off of some graphs. So here we have this graph, and I just want to make one note before we get started. We have our x-axis here and our y-axis here. Those are not part of the graph. They are only there for reference, for you to have, something to kind of look at and figure out, where is an x value of 2 or whatever. What every one of our answers, or everything we're going to be dealing with, is dealing with this blue curve here. So keep that in mind as we go through. All right, part A here says find the f of 0, and it also says to find the f of 6. Okay, looking at this is sort of two different problems in one. So looking at this and keeping in mind that normally our notation is f of x. So they're giving us an x value here of 0. And if you'll remember too, that f of x is just a fancy way of saying y. So what they're doing here is they're giving us an x value, and we are finding the y that goes with that. So if I were to go over here to where x is 0, then we're talking about this point right here on the curve. Where the x value is 0, the y value is 0 also. So the f of 0 is 0. Now for the f of 6, here again the same scenario. They've given us 6 is an x value, and they're wanting us to find the y value that goes with that. So if I go over here to where x is 6, it corresponds with this point on my curve. So when x is 6, y is 0. Okay, let's try another one. Let's do part B. Part B says find the f of 2, and then also to find the f of negative 2. So here again, they've given us an x value of 2. So if we were to go over here to where x is 2, we're talking about this point right here on the curve. So where x is 2, y is negative 2. Now, again, same type of notation. So here they say that x is negative 2, and we're supposed to find y. So when x is negative 2, we're talking about this point right here on the curve. So when x is negative 2, the y value that corresponds to that would be 1. Alright, I hope this is starting to kind of come together a little bit there. Part C says, is the f of 3 positive or negative? Positive or negative? So here again, they've given us an x value, and they're wanting to know, is this positive or negative? Well, f of whatever is a big old fancy way of saying y. So what they're asking us with this notation is, when x is 3, is the y value positive or negative? Well, as we go over here on our graph, let's see, x is 3 would be right in between the 2 and the 4. So now the point on the graph that corresponds with that would be this point right here. That would be the point 3 comma something. Well, we don't know exactly what that y value is, but we do know whether it's positive or negative. In this case, that number would be negative. Now what about the next part, part D says, is the f of negative 1 positive or negative? So again, we're going to go with this same exact scenario. They've told us an x value here of negative 1. So where x is negative 1, we'd go over on the x-axis, be right about here. But on our curve, we're talking about this point right here. That would be the point where x was negative 1 and y was something else. We don't know what that y is, but we do know that since it's above the x-axis, that has to be a positive y value.